Because when HR is easier, you can focus on what matters most, your people. HR is hard. Bamboo HR is easy. Ready to simplify all your HR tasks? For a limited time, get a $100 Visa gift card when you complete a free demo at bamboohr.com/gift card. Again, that's bamboohr.com/gift card. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails. Turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hiddy Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Slow on traffic on 66 westbound between the Beltway and 123 and between the Fairfax County Parkway and US 29 in Centerville. And there is still an accident on the ramp from westbound 66 to go on to 28. So watch out for lane restrictions on that ramp. Also, you will find accident activity right now in Landover on 202 Landover Road at Bright Seat Road. And in Northeast, there is an accident on Montana Avenue at W Street. Still the crash on DC 295 northbound before East Capitol Street, causing delays from the 11th Street Bridge, and another accident northbound at Eastern Avenue. Now from GarageDoorCare.com, the WMAL Storm Watch and Forecast.
Mainly clear and cool overnight. Tomorrow, clouds begin to increase during the afternoon. Temperatures be in the middle to upper 80s. Showers and storms are likely late tomorrow night. Partly sunny with scattered showers on Wednesday. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rubin, the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 73 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis, Sun News Talk, 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
In the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Welcome, it is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. He will be back with you next week. Wait, Mr. Producer, am I allowed to say where he is, or is that still... Oh, I can tell them. Okay, so we have breaking news. The great one is in Israel. There you go. He will be back with you next week. I'll be with you today. I'll be with you another time this week as well. And it's really an honor to fill in as he is over in Israel as we speak. 99 days. That is how many days Donald Trump has been president when he made the announcement at the White House about the numbers, where we are on the issue of illegal immigration. It is the 100-day mark of the presidency of Donald Trump, his second term. And there's a very clear theme. Promises made, promises kept. One of the top issues, border security. And what has been achieved in fewer than 100 days has truly been remarkable. What did Donald Trump say in Aurora, Colorado back on 10/12 of 2024 last year? Quote, "We will close the border. We will stop the invasion of illegals into our country." Very simple statement from President Donald Trump. It was a promise. So what has happened since he became president? Illegal border encounters are now down by 95%. Illegal immigrants, gotaways, that is the top threat to public safety, the top threat to you and I, the gotaways, are now down 99%. Fox News correspondent Bill Melugin put it this way, saying, quote, if Fox were to send me down there right now, I would have trouble finding a single migrant on camera. Well, we know what his reports looked like when he was down there for the last 4 years under the Biden administration. CBS immigration reporter said it this way. Typically, when we go to the U.S.-Mexico border, we at least see one group of people who are trying to cross into the U.S. illegally. We did not see a single migrant this time. Why? Because Donald Trump is actually doing his job of securing the border, which every president should have done. The Wall Street Journal put it this way, saying, quote, border crossings grind to a halt as Trump's tough policies are taking hold. Now, are they really tough policies, or is he just enforcing the law? You can have that debate. I would think it's pretty clear that it's not necessarily the president's being tough. The president's just actually honoring the law and protecting Americans from an invasion. Axios put it this way. Border crossings plunged to the lowest levels in decade, new data confirms. The New York Post, northern border sector previously overrun by illegal immigrants, sees dramatic drop in crossings. We haven't seen anyone since November. The Times, this city was a border flashpoint. Now the only migrants are quail. Reuters saying it this way. Migrant arrests at the U.S.-Mexico border in March, lowest ever recorded. Bloomberg, U.S.-bound migrants plunged 99% along Panama jungle route. Why? Because they know it's not worth it. Because if you get here and you get caught, guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to be sent home. Now, let all that sit in for a second. And then think about the liberal Los Angeles Times. The LA Times says this, California-Mexico border once overwhelmed, now nearly empty. That is a promise kept by the President of the United States of America. And to remind the American people that we're just getting started, the president at the White House had signs that were put out of illegal immigrant mugshots. Those that are the worst among us. Now, the president has warned about this for quite some time. And you want to know what MSNBC did? They actually blurred out the faces of those on the signs and said that we're under attack by the White House. We're under attack. This is the propaganda from NBC, MSNBC. Listen carefully to their words, as all the president did was line the driveway with all of the criminals that have been caught from this administration. Those who have committed heinous crimes, murder, rape, child molestation, sexual assault. The list goes on and on. And what does MSNBC say? These people on the signs, they're somehow victims.
Kumar, before we let you go, we want to get your reaction to something that just occurred. The White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House is doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image?
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abreu Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out. The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they'd placed gang signs on gang hit signs, tattoos on him that weren't real. And so I would really, the press right now, we are absolutely under attack.
Hold on a second. Not the American people are under attack by all the illegal immigrants coming into this country. The press, she says, is the victim here. We are under attack. We, the press, are under attack by this White House. Forget all the lies that were said in the last 20 seconds before that. What you hear there from Maria Teresa Kumar is that somehow she believes having to report the actual news about the heinous crimes committed by illegal immigrants, that means that she is under attack. That journalists are under attack because they're having to do reports and there are signs of illegal immigrants behind them who have been arrested and charged with heinous crimes, who have committed heinous crimes, who have killed innocent men, women, and children, who have raped and sexually assaulted women and men and children. And what did she say? Well, we are the media, and you know what, I hate to say it, but we the almighty dictators of America's minds, we are the ones that are under attack.
We are absolutely under attack. Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news.
Balanced news? Okay, let's go to balanced news then. Were you balanced when you made sure that you buried the Hunter Biden laptop story before the election in 2020? Were you balanced when you put out propaganda that everyone knew was a lie in D.C. about Russian collusion? Were you balanced when you protected illegal immigrants and gang members and underreported the numbers of those crossing the southern border? Hell, were you balanced when you covered up the biggest political scandal of my lifetime? The scandal of the cover-up of the demise of a guy by the name of Joe Biden, which you guys had access to far beyond what we had access to, where you knew that he was incapacitated and you didn't say a damn thing about it. Were you guys being balanced then? I'm just asking for, millions and millions of American voters. Were you balanced? Let's go back to balanced real quick. Were you balanced when you were advocating for lawfare against Donald J. Trump? Were you balanced when you accused him of rape and sexual assault that you knew was a lie? Were you balanced when you cheered on? You cheered on people being arrested just because they were conservatives. Were you balanced when you didn't report on the egregious abuse of power by the federal government labeling parents that showed up to their kids' school board meetings, for goodness sakes, as domestic terrorists? Were you balanced when you didn't report the crimes of the Biden crime family? When you refused to admit that Hunter Biden and the Biden crime family were on the take selling America out to our adversaries? Were you balanced in any of that? I think we all know the answer, of course, no. But apparently that doesn't matter. Because this is the media, yet again, trying to Jedi mind trick you into believing somehow that, again, orange man bad, and that they are actually the only people telling you the truth. And keep listening to the psychotic narcissism.
And making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger, and having that representation of those pictures in the background. We can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people. So I would encourage, I recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred to the best of your abilities. We know
well
better.
said. Well said. And again,
well
here,
said.
doing the work, doing it well.
Doing the work. Yes, we just screwed up all the biggest stories in the last 5 years that I just went through. We screwed all those up. We lied. We deceived the American people. But by golly, well said there. Well said. We're 100 days in, and this is what we're up against. We're 100 days in, and the Democratic Party and the media are saying somehow we are the victims. And they've gone back to what they've been saying over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, which is orange man bad. Donald Trump is evil. He deserves to be impeached. Now, you may say, Ben, come on. They've moved on from the impeachment stuff. Dial down the crazy. No, they haven't. In fact, Representative, is it Cherie, whatever the hell his last name is, Thanadar, whatever, has come out and filed impeachment paperwork for Donald J. Trump, I guess to honor the 100 days of Donald Trump being in office. So if you thought that line was going to go away, that we're not going to impeach Donald Trump, no, we're doing it again.
This is Congressman Shri Thanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump.
Happy 1 year. Just kidding. 100 days, right? Happy 100 days, Donald Trump. I'm a Democrat. That isn't a Saturday Night Live skit. That's real. That is him saying, I am going after you. I am going to impeach you. And this is what we are doing in America in the Democratic Party. Now, will the media cover this? Of course they will. Of course they will, because they don't want to have to cover everything else. They don't want to have to cover fentanyl. They don't want to have to cover crime. They don't want to have to cover any of it. It's all propaganda, state-sponsored by the media and these radicals, these socialists, these communists, these Marxists, just like this congressman. 100 days in, I want to impeach Donald Trump. For what reason? Because I don't like him. And I don't respect the will of the people. By the way, that's what communists, Marxists, and socialists believe. The people have no say in the government. 1-877-381-3811. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Don't forget you can send me your comments on X at Ben Ferguson Show. On Instagram, Ben Ferguson Podcast. On Facebook, Ben Ferguson there. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
In the district, watch out for accident activity on 5th Street at Rhode Island Avenue in Northeast and on Alabama Avenue at Marion-Barry Avenue in Southeast. And on DC 295, still a crash northbound before East Capitol Street as traffic jam from the 11th Street Bridge in Northeast. Another accident now reported on Florida Avenue near 12th Street. Still a crash activity on the ramp from westbound 66 to go on to 28. And it is still slow on and off westbound from the Beltway to 123 and from the Fairfax County Parkway towards Business 234. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, highs in the lower 80s.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails. Turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
When you're in HR, it can feel like nothing is easy. From payroll to PTO, from onboarding to benefits, and everything in between. It's a constant juggle of tasks, systems, and spreadsheets. But your HR software? That's the easy part. Meet Bamboo HR. Trusted by over 34,000 companies, it handles all your HR tasks, payroll, benefits, and time tracking, so your team and your company can grow as fast as, well, Bamboo. And Bamboo HR software is actually easy to use. One simple system that pulls all your people data together in one place, so you can ditch scattered systems and wasted hours on tasks that should only take minutes. Because when HR is easier, you can focus on what matters most, your people. HR is hard. Bamboo HR is easy. Ready to simplify all your HR tasks? For a limited time, get a $100 Visa gift card when you complete a free demo at bamboohr.com/gift card. Again, that's bamboohr.com/gift card. Terms and conditions apply.
20 illegal online pharmacies appear each day, but you can find safe and legitimate pharmacies online by looking for .pharmacy in a web address. Learn more at safe.pharmacy. A public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
There are places with people in this world that are without any hope. That is, until Mercy Ships arrives. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, help to the outcast, and love to the brokenhearted. Mercy Ships brings love to the lost and forgotten. To learn more, go to mercyships.org.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the markets. Because generational wealth doesn't build itself. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one who is in Israel, and he'll be back with you next week. We've got a lot to chat about on the show tonight. I want you to hear from Attorney General Pam Bondi, by the way, on what they're actually doing. You may have heard the headline about the Colorado nightclub raid, and during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls on that club in Colorado Springs alone. Now, of course, the media doesn't want to tell you that, and they also say that the signs of the illegal immigrants arrested who have committed heinous crimes in the White House, well, you should blur their faces out, and we shouldn't be involved in this.
America is safer tonight thanks to Donald Trump. Last night, Brian, what they did, during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone. That club we were just watching, 170 calls. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag? Nothing happened. Guns, shootings, ag batteries, nothing happened. So under Donald Trump, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF, ICE, everyone went in together. DEA led this investigation. Went in, got 115 illegal immigrants, aliens in our country, arrested them, 2 with warrants, 12 guns seized. So what would happen in this club is you would go in, security would give you a menu of drugs, cocaine, there's something new called pink cocaine, meth, you could go in a bathroom stall, get that, there was prostitution, all these things going on. And we just now identified a member of Sinaloa cartel was also in there.
So why is no one else talking about this? Because they don't want to give Donald Trump credit. 179 calls from that club alone. And that wasn't a red flag, not for the last administration. Do you want to know why? Because they never had any intent on stopping any of this. They knew that there was going to be a lot of bad things that happened. They knew that there was going to be a lot of people that were going to suffer. Okay, they knew this. They were fine with it. They had no issue with it whatsoever. They're like, yeah, we know a bunch of Americans are going to get killed. We know they're going to get OD on drugs. We know they're going to get raped. We know that children are going to be, sex trafficked. We know that there's going to be people that die. We know there's going to be girls that are going to run on trails. They're going to be murdered by illegal immigrants. Like, we get it, but we needed to flood the country with 20 million new voters. And that's just what we were going to do. And by the way, Democrats demand that all these people live in your neighborhood on these signs of the White House, and that you pay their lawyers, and that you treat them like some sort of gods, do-gooders. Rape, murder, that's what these people on the signs are accused of and were arrested for.
WMAL. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-809-7171. 800-809-7171.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. It's a day many NFL fans have been waiting decades for. The district and Commanders reached a $3.7 billion deal to build a new stadium at RFK. Team owner Josh Harris.
We want to bring the Commanders home with a new RFK that our fans will love, our opponents will fear.
It's not a done deal until the council approves it. D.C. Councilmember Charles Allen says in a statement it's a bad deal for D.C. and he doesn't think a stadium is the best use for the site. The illegal immigrant from Chile who allegedly stole Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's purse while she was eating at Capitol Burger in the district on Easter faces federal charges. 49-year-old Mario Bustamante Leiva is charged with wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and robbery for a total of 3 pocketbook snatchings in D.C. Prosecutors say he used the credit cards from the stolen purses. He's one of 2 men arrested in connection with the purse snatching. Traffic and weather next.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
Can we have an honest talk about real estate?
What's your opinion on the market?
Every day, I hear people talking about how it's impossible to invest in real estate and it's not even worthwhile anymore. I'm getting pretty frustrated.
Get real talk from real estate pros.
I am trying to be debt-free by 40.
You have got to pay attention to this trend. Or follow me and I'll let you know what's going on.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
In the district on DC 295 northbound before East Capitol Street, there is still an accident causing delays from the 11th Street Bridge. Southbound side is heavy from Burroughs Avenue towards East Capitol Street. And there is an accident in Northeast on 5th Street at Rhode Island Avenue and on Alabama Avenue at Marion Barry Avenue in Southeast. And the local lanes of 270 northbound before Shady Grove Road crash activity reported. Main lane slow northbound through Bethesda and then from Clopper Road to Middlebrook Road. Port delays from 121 towards Route 80 in Urbana. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, highs in the lower 80s. Right now, 72 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
Let's get inside of Jack Osborne. Fans would say Black Sabbath was a huge influence. And thank God you liked it, boy. Yeah. Elijah Wood.
Peter gets on the phone. Elijah, would you like to play the role further?
Did you cry?
Probably screamed at the top of my lungs.
You play iconic characters, Black Canary and Black Siren. Who would you choose?
Probably Black Siren. She was like, I got this. And that's how Katie Cassidy feels. She's got this.
I like that.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming. toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's disease research program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news.
And you can call them at 877-381-3811.
All right, I got a simple question for you. Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one who'll be back with you next week as he is in Israel right now. Do you support President Trump on the issue of deportations? There is a core question, and we all step back from what I just told you. And you have to ask yourself, whose side of this are you on? Are you on the side of Democrats that stand up for the MS-13 gang members that rape and kill and pillage and sell the fentanyl that is killing more people under the age of 40 than anything else in the United States of America, period, full stop? You look at this administration compared to the last one. The last one said, we put Americans last. We don't care how many of you die. We are going to flood the country with what we look at as our new voters. I refer to it as modern day slaves. The socialists and communists of the Democratic Party, the Marxists, said we got to flood in new voters. We're losing some of the Democrats that are African American because they're realizing that, hey, you guys are actually just keeping us living in hell and poverty. You want us addicted to your government cheese, and we're not having it. We actually want to succeed. We actually want to do better in life. You look at Donald Trump back in 16, 17, before COVID hit, what happened? We had the lowest unemployment rate in the history for African Americans, Asian Americans, Latin Americans, Indian American. It was incredible. And why did that happen? Because we had a president that said, I don't want you living in hell. I don't want you living below the poverty line. I don't want you dependent on the government for your livelihood. That's not good for anyone. I want to empower you. I want to empower you to be able to take care of yourself and not just take care of yourself, but to actually succeed. Like what I want is I want you to live a better life than you've ever lived before. And that's my goal of my administration. And that is why the Democratic Party did everything they could to destroy Donald Trump. That's why they tried to put him in jail. Hell, that's why they tried to kill him on multiple occasions. That's why there was the assassination attempt on him and the next one. And God knows how many others that we don't know about. This is why. Because he's a threat to their power structure. And so what the Democrats said was, hey, at all costs, no matter what, we got to. Like we have to. We have got. Okay, we have got to get rid of Donald Trump. And if we can get rid of Donald Trump, if we can just get rid of him, if we can just move on past him, then the threat will be gone, and that's good for all of us. Tom Homan said something very interesting at the White House about all of this. And what he said was, I worked for 6 different presidents, folks. 6. And he said, here's what you need to know about Biden.
Look, I started in the Border Patrol in 1984. I've been at this for over 40 years. I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president ever worked for took border security seriously because you can't have national security if you don't have strong border security. We got to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where's coming in, why it's coming in, right? Even President Obama and President Clinton took some steps to secure the border because they understood national security was important. Joe Biden was the first president in the history of this nation who came in office and unsecured a border on purpose. That's just a fact. We handed the Biden administration, after President Trump's first administration, we handed the Biden administration the most secure border in my lifetime, and he unsecured it on purpose. Now, President Trump and this administration here, their success is unprecedented. We beat Trump's first administration on border success. Border numbers are historic low. Today, as I'm standing here, We have the most secure border in the history of this nation. And the numbers prove it.
So the question is, do you support the President of the United States of America on this issue? I know I do. Caroline Leavitt, by the way, putting the first 100 days in perspective at the White House press briefing, saying this.
Trump administration is working 24/7 to successfully arrest and deport these illegal criminals and foreign terrorists from our communities. We are in the beginning stages of carrying out the largest deportation campaign in American history. Over this past weekend, it was announced that through Operation Tidal Wave, a joint effort between ICE Miami and Florida law enforcement agencies, nearly 800 illegal aliens were arrested during the first 4 days alone. Among those arrested were a Colombian murderer, alleged MS-13 and 18th Street gang members, and a Russian with a red notice for manslaughter. And on the other side of the country, in the early Sunday morning hours, DOJ and DHS together launched a joint raid of an illegal alien underground nightclub used by Tren de Aragua in Colorado Springs, Colorado. DHS took more than 100 illegal aliens into custody, and many drugs and weapons were also seized. Operation Tidal Wave is a preview of what is to come around this country. Large-scale operations that employ our state and local enforcement partners to get criminal illegal aliens off our streets. As always, President Trump and our entire administration are grateful for the courageous law enforcement officers who are putting their lives on the line every single day to protect their fellow Americans and to keep our country safe.
We are in the beginning stages of carrying out the largest deportation campaign in American history. That's what I voted for. I voted for an administration to work 24/7, to arrest and to deport these illegal criminals and foreign terrorists from our country. I voted for an administration on the 100-day anniversary says, hey, we're going to put up signs of the criminals that we've arrested and the charges that are against them. I go back to the signs, and if you look at the signs, what is on these signs are things like rape, lewd acts in front of a child, distribution of fentanyl, MS-13 gang member, and homicide, sexual assault of a child, murder, homicide, child sexual assault. I'm looking at these signs right now. Rape and sodomy of a child. Rape of a child. Rape. Violent sexual offense against child. Child pornography. Fentanyl. An illegal DUI. Sexual assault. Rape. Murder. Homicide. These are the pictures of the people that they are getting rid of that are walking among us. And what does the media say? Well, we need to make sure that these signs are seen by no one, that these pictures are not seen, because these are the people we must protect, and we need to blur out their faces.
Teresa Kumar, before we let you go, we want to get your reaction to something that just occurred. The White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image.
So I have to say, one of the biggest.
By the way, can we just pause there with just your response to this image? Pictures of those who have been arrested for murder and rape and fentanyl, lewd acts with children, child pornography, child molestation. You're worried about the American people seeing all of the mugshots of these people? This is the same media, by the way, that will run a mugshot of like any famous person that's TMZ style
just to get clicks. Like, do you know how many times MSNBC has thrown up a mugshot of someone who's just famous who gets arrested for, by the way, nothing big, nothing like child rape or murder, right? Because they have no problem with that. But oh no, you're hold on. You put up MS-13 gang members pictures and these other things. Well, now we've got to stop you there. That is something you're not allowed to take. No, we must take it down. And we have a moral responsibility to not show you these people. That's our moral responsibility, she goes on to say.
Challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Camara Abreu Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know.
I love this. Like, we don't know if these rapists and child molesters and people that have child pornography and we don't know if they've had due process. Wouldn't it be nice if the media gave that much of a you-know-what about the actual victims and the American people? Wouldn't it be nice if the Democratic Party would actually sit down and meet with the families and the victims of these 100-plus posters of the White House and say, tell me their stories, instead of flying down to Venezuela to meet with MS-13 gang members who even his own wife had to get an order of protection against this person? They're like, oh, he's not a gang member. He's just a dad. He's just a dad from wherever the hell he's from. Right? He's just a father from Maryland or whatever the crap it is. Like, it is insane that these people will go on TV with a straight face and they will say these things. Tom Homan reminding the American people of who all these people are. Listen.
First of all, how many illegal aliens I think in the United States? At least 20 million. Here's where'd you come that number? We've been speaking about 12 million for 20 years. We know we got 10.5 that we know of came to the border. How many don't we know? I talked about known gotaways at 2 million. How many unknown gotaways do we have? Like between the Big Bend sector in Texas, where there's no technology, how many 1,000 people they get across through there? We wouldn't know. We would know now. But, so I would venture over 20 million. But your question is, last count, last I looked, there was about 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal charges walking the streets of this country. 700,000. And that's what we're looking for now. That's what we're prioritizing. Them and national security threats.
Them and national security threats. 20 million. That's a lot, folks, including 700,000 with criminal charges walking the streets. So there are 700,000 that he can tell you, look, we know. Like, we know there's 700,000 that are walking the streets with criminal history that are a threat to you and your family. We know that. Sorry, the last administration and the Biden administration, other Democrats, and by the way, some scumbag Republicans, I'll throw them in there too, rhinos, yeah, they're in the same boat. We know. We know. This is the Democratic Party. This is who they are. This is what they believe in. They are Marxists. They are socialists. They are communists. This is who they are. I'm going to say it again. This is who they are. Believe them when they tell you that this is what they believe in. Believe them when they tell you that this is how, this is their thought process on their beliefs. Believe them. They don't give a crap about you. They don't care if you're killed. They don't care if your kid or your grandkid accidentally overdoses from a fentanyl-laced pill with a pill that they had no intention of dying from. They don't care. I'm talking about tragic stories. There was a kid that took last year during finals, and tell your kids, I'm telling you this a warning. He thought he was taking a pill that would just keep him up and let him be focused. Instead, he died. Got it from somebody that got it from somebody. Had fentanyl in it. Right? That's what it was. Had fentanyl in it. They didn't care. It was marked. It looked real. It looked legit. The kid was just trying to ace his finals, folks. And that's just one example. There's a lot of other kids that died. Had no intent on dying from an accidental overdose from fentanyl. They thought they were taking a pill, a prescription drug, that for whatever reason, kids do stupid things. People do dumb things. It doesn't mean you deserve a death sentence from it. And yet the Democratic Party today is more worried about the MS-13 gang members than they are about the victims of the crimes, the heinous crimes from the MS-13 gang members. That is the takeaway. 1-877-381-3811. 381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one, Mark Levin. If you can't get through on the phones, follow me on X. Send your comments there at Ben Ferguson Show. On Instagram, at Ben Ferguson Podcast. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
WMAL, making sense of the vote because elections have consequences. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Hi, I'm Colonel Greg Gatson, retired Army Colonel and former Garrison Commander of Fort Belvoir and proud U.S. veteran. I know from personal experience that the road to recovery can be difficult. If you've recently filed a VA disability claim and have to attend a VA claim exam, you've likely got questions. Search Compensation and Pension Exam on va.gov for the answers you need and the benefits you've earned. Your VA claim exam. Know what's next.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Thomas logo on the inner between the Leesburg Pike and the 270 spur and from Old Georgetown Road to University Boulevard. More delays through College Park and Landover. Outer loop, some delays through McLean and slow again from the Springfield Interchange to the Wilson Bridge. In Montgomery County, there is an accident now on 29 at Southwood Avenue and in Riverdale Park, a crash on Route 1 just north of East West Highway. In Loudoun County, the earlier accidents on eastbound 50 at Stone Springs Boulevard cleared, and the earlier accidents in Prince William County on Parkgate Drive and Aiden Road cleared. Everything has now been reopened. Now from GarageRepair.com for WMAL's Alexa forecast.
Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, highs in the lower 80s.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Dry January and sober October. They are 2 months of the year when a lot of people try and go without alcohol. But for anyone out there who needs to hear this, you obviously don't have to wait for either of those months to give it a go. Maybe you try around your birthday, or maybe today. I'm not saying everyone needs to cut out alcohol entirely, but just about all of us would benefit from cutting back. And you can do that by setting SMART goals, meaning be specific with your plan, make it measurable. How many drinks are you going to cut? You want your goal to be achievable. Don't jam your calendar with social events where it's going to be more difficult to avoid alcohol. Make your goal relevant. How will not drinking make your life better? Finally, your goal should be time-based, meaning how long are you going to do it for? You can always build on your success. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, will you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity,
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Join us at mda75.org.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
20 illegal online pharmacies appear each day, but you can find safe and legitimate pharmacies online by looking for .pharmacy in a web address. Learn more at safe.pharmacy. A public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
11-year-old Mehdi lives in Ethiopia in extreme poverty. Child Fund works in 25 countries to ensure that millions of children like Mehdi grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe. Learn more at childfund.org. If you are a loved
With
one
over 20 years of generous community support, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post 9/11 veterans and their families with no-cost services, legislative advocacy, and more. And we're just getting started. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Are you a parent of a child with disabilities who desperately needs a break? Then you need to know about Jill's House. To find out more, visit our website, jillshouse.org.
WMAL.
Did you know that other organization supports LGBTQ rights? That's right. That other so-called senior advocacy group is pushing a radical left-wing agenda. They've been in bed with the left for years. That's why I stand with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. It's the conservative alternative, and they're fighting to protect the America we grew up loving. Anyone can join AMAC regardless of your age. That's right. You don't have to be 50 or 60, but they want every freedom-loving American in the fight. And right now, AMAC is is offering a 5-year membership for $31. Normally it's $60. That's a 47% off. But this offer ends on April 30th. And your $31 doesn't go to some woke nonsense. They help AMAC stand up for your values across this great country. Oh, and did I mention you get fantastic benefits and discounts like nowhere else? Go to amac.us/Levin right now. amac.us/LEVIN. That's amac.us/Levin. Join the fight for America's future.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
My heart just breaks for what's going on.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the headlines. Because common sense isn't so common. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Do you stand with Donald Trump on the issue of deporting illegal immigrants? I say hell yes. This is what I voted for. The fact that we have at least 20 million illegal aliens that are in this country, including 800,000 with criminal charges walking the streets, that's a real problem. Democrats demanding that all the people's lives in your neighborhood where you live walk around with these illegal immigrants are being charged with murder and rape and homicide and sexual conduct with a child molestation. And then the media is like, well, we need to protect these MS-13 gang members. We really need to protect them. By the way, the president's not done there. It's one other thing the president announced on this 100 days of being in office. President Donald Trump signing an executive order requiring a nationwide list of sanctuary cities. You know how much of your tax dollars is spent taking care of illegal immigrants in this country when the Democrats allowed them to flood in? New York City has spent $5 billion alone on migrants. Chicago has spent $612 million on illegal immigrants. Denver has spent $356 million on illegal immigrants. And as the White House put it, America deserves to know which cities are wasting their hard-earned tax dollars on illegal aliens, putting them ahead of you.
Order on sanctuary cities. The first EO will strengthen and unleash America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. The second EO is centered around protecting American communities from criminal aliens, and it will direct the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. After these are signed, the president will have signed more than 140 executive orders already, rapidly approaching the total number signed by the Biden administration over the course of 4 years in office. Order on sanctuary.
I mean, you hear the White House press secretary saying this. All this is transparency. That's what it is. It's just transparency. It's simple transparency. I go back to Colorado Springs and the video that went viral, where the Attorney General A.G. Bondi said, look, the Biden administration turned a blind eye to 170 warnings about illegals, underground nightclub in Colorado with ties to MS-13 and the Trinidad terrorist organizations. They knew they were there. This wasn't new intelligence. They knew they were there. And what do? Not a damn thing. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. By the way, don't forget, if you like what I'm doing here, I do a really cool new podcast called the 47 Morning Update. It's the 3 biggest stories coming out of the White House. Grab it during the break. It's about 10 to 12 minutes long every day. Start your day with it. The 47 Morning Update. Ben Ferguson with you. We'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with you 100%.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
There's a lot of us out there.
Making sense of the news.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of 1. She doesn't boo me. She never will.
We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
And here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
So let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
Can we have an honest talk about real estate?
What's your opinion on the market?
Every day, I hear people talking about how it's impossible to invest in real estate and it's not even worthwhile anymore. I'm getting pretty frustrated.
Get real talk from real estate pros.
I am trying to be debt-free by 40.
You have got to pay attention to this trend. Or follow me and I'll let you know what's going on.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
You know, I feel like every few months there is another study about the effects of drinking alcohol on your health. Is it just me, or does it seem that everyone arrives at a different conclusion? I think it's that time again, because I was just reading about some new research out of Spain that found for people following the Mediterranean diet, that drinking a small glass of wine with dinner may protect the heart for people at risk of heart disease. Now, I'll repeat what I've said many times before, and that is this. If you don't already drink wine, don't start drinking wine in pursuit of better health. What I would take away from this study, the importance of a proper pour. Here in the United States, a glass of wine is 5 ounces. And don't forget, there are more impactful ways to lower your risk of cardiovascular disease. Eat a healthy diet. Get plenty of exercise. Don't smoke. And if you do at all drink wine, cut back just a little bit. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. An exciting day for Washington sports fans as the city and team announce a deal to bring the Commanders back to RFK. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell grew up going to games at RFK.
Many of our early memories as a football fan were formed there, watching the great teams and sharing the experiences with my family.
And the team's fans.
A generation of fans growing up rooting for the team did not have that experience, but the next ones will.
The team will invest $2.7 billion, the city another $1 billion. If the council approves the deal, the stadium would open in fall of 2030. DC Council member Charles Allen says it's a bad deal for the city. He says if the council passes it as is, taxpayers would be on the hook for $1 billion for a stadium that would sit unused 335 days a year. A stalwart Northern Virginia Democrat is giving up his combative job in Congress to continue combating cancer instead.
No one elected Elon Musk to dismantle it.
Kerry Connolly's never shied away from a fight in 22 years in Congress or in 14 years on the Fairfax board, but he told constituents in a letter today he will not be running for re-election as he fights a cancer diagnosis that's reflared after initially being suppressed last year. Connolly, who's 75, says he'll step down as ranking member of the House Oversight Committee soon, but will finish out his 12th term. He writes, with no rancor and a full heart, I move into this final chapter full of pride in what we've accomplished together. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Federal charges are filed against the illegal immigrant who allegedly stole Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's purse while she was dining in the district on Easter. 49-year-old Mario Bustamante Leyva is charged with wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and robbery for allegedly snatching 3 purses from women in D.C. last month and using the credit cards. Court documents say he admitted to stealing Noem's purse, but said he didn't know who she was. Prosecutors say the day before Leyva allegedly stole Noem's purse while she was dining at Capitol Burger, he filed a report with Montgomery County Police saying someone stole a bag of his belongings while he was sleeping on a bench. He's one of 2 men arrested in connection with the purse snatching. The recording was shocking. Purportedly, a Maryland high school principal using racist and anti-Semitic language last year.
I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumb here every day.
Turns out the recording was a deep fake, and the man who made it using artificial intelligence pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor today. 32-year-old Dezon Darian of Baltimore submitted an Alford plea, sentenced to 4 months, though Darian, the former athletic director of Pikesville High School, is still in custody over a pending child sex abuse case. As for the principal, Eric Eiswort was dismissed and is now the principal of a middle school in Sparrows Point. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
After lots of pushback, the town council of Purcellville voted last week against a proposal to get rid of its police department and have the sheriff's department take over law enforcement. Sheriff Mike Chapman says the council hadn't consulted him about it. He says his deputies already cover the night shift, and the move would have required an additional 8 deputies. Today, he tells 7 News they're always willing to help, but the process was rushed.
If they want to keep a town police department, I support that. If they want us to kind of come in and take over, we're fine with that too, but it's going to take a lot of work to do that.
The council voted to fully fund the police department through next year. Traffic and weather next.
Hackers don't need much. Just one leaked password can potentially unlock a treasure trove of personal information, leading to stress, pain, and permanently wrecked credit. Don't be an easy target. Get protection by Aura today. Aura protects your identity, finances, and family all in one powerful app. Get real-time alerts, safeguard your accounts, and block scams before they happen. If identity theft strikes, we help you recover. Stay protected at aura.com/stream. That's AURA.com/stream.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails and turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hoodie Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Still some delays on 270 northbound between 121 and 109. An accident in the local lanes northbound before Shady Grove Road moved to the right shoulder. GW Parkway, some delays southbound between 123 and Spout Run. And still a slow go on 395 northbound from 110 to the 14th Street Bridge. And southbound 95 is heavy from the Beltway headed towards 123 in Woodbridge. Beltway still slow going on the inner loop between the Leesburg Pike and the 270 spur, and more delays through Bethesda, and it is slow on the outer loop from the toll road to the Little River Turnpike and from the Springfield interchange to the Wilson Bridge. Now for GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
From a gorgeous day to a marvelous evening. Our skies clear, winds light, temperatures between 63 and 67 degrees. Will drop down to 52 to 58 degrees by Tuesday morning, and high temperatures tomorrow could be the warmest of the year so far, between 80 and 88 degrees with partly sunny skies. I'm 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 72 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis in WMAL.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
Mark Levin.
Steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Welcome, it is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. Hour 2. Mark will be back with you next week. If you just joined us, it's 100 days in. And do you support the President of the United States of America on the number one issue right now, which is the issue of immigration? I want you to hear what Stephen Miller had to say at the White House today about the Democratic Party and what they have done on the issue of immigration and what they have cost Americans on this issue.
I got something I got to do.
Stephen talking at the White
Somebody's
House.
Somebody's going to be here in like 10 minutes.
These illegal immigrants and the crimes that they have committed. In
the
fact,
one who brought me that. They're coming back. My card players want to play cards tonight.
Past some signs and
they're going to be here in about 20 minutes. So I got to go.
Blue dots in front of
That's what they say anyway. Only 2 people. So they just three card players, me and 2 people.
Fentanyl, illegal gun, child pornography, sexual offense.
I don't really want to go, but I got to go.
Rape of a child, and it goes on.
And I will be back.
Rape and sodomy of a child. If you're an American and you do these things,